Good evening, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? Wolfgang, hello. Don, hello. Johnny, hello. Love and Life, hello. Virginia Bushcrafter, hello. Irishman, hello. And Roaming Pepper, hello. Thanks for waiting. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm gonna wait for somebody to respond because I have the habit of talking with my microphone off. Everything good, you guys? Sound okay? Look okay? Great. Okay, thank you guys. All right, so hi Nostra. So I don't normally share my dreams, you guys, but tonight I'm going to share one of my dreams because I feel it's important, and it was somewhat of a wake-up call for me, and I wanted to share with you all to give you something to think about before it gets to that point. So, as you guys know, I have lots of dreams. I don't usually share them publicly. Um, I do have dreams of things to come as far as like worldwide events. But this was something that seemed to be more in the future of after World War III hits and when the One World Order is already in effect and the system is already in place. Hi, Greenleaf. Hi, Hippy Dippy. Red Scout, hello. So, what had ended up happening in this dream, you guys, is I stayed the entire time as everything was falling apart, one of the people that did not comply. I did not go get whatever mandates they said. I refused to get in lines for to get a number or to get a barcode or whatever it was. I stayed strong in my I will not comply, and I stayed strong in all of my beliefs and my faith. And I knew that even though the world was falling apart around me, that I was going to be okay. And it got to the point where somewhere in this dream, I was caught. Whoever was running the world, um, somehow they caught me. And they ended up putting me in, um, I don't really want to call it a camp. It was like a compound. So it was like multi-families in one compound where we all had um, shared living space, and we each had our own basic rooms with just a bed and maybe a small desk and a small nightstand. But as far as personal belongings, we really didn't have any. We had to stay within the complex or within so many um, like within a distance from where we were staying. We had to get food from whoever was in charge. We had to get whatever commodities that we needed from whoever was in charge. And we had to basically work for these things to live. So if you wanted food, you had to go do this task. If you wanted um, medicine or to see a doctor, you had to go do that task. And it was really like they enslaved everyone that they caught. And most of the people that were in this compound were people that were of the I will not comply community. So we were still a family. We were still strong. We were still supporting each other and helping each other. But there were certain things that we had to do if we wanted to get food. And it was one of those things where you choose your battle. Well, hi TJ. Hi Ghost. Winter Homestead, hello. Um, so there was at one point that we were all sitting on the couch in this living space, and we weren't allowed to have any TVs or radios or anything like that. There was no connection to the outside world or what was going on. We just didn't know what was even going outside of or going on outside of this complex. We were cut off from the outside world. We didn't know how many were caught. We didn't know if there were any people, survivors that were outside still of the I will not comply community. We just didn't know. We were left in the dark basically. And when we were all sitting there and just discussing, kind of what we were doing, what we were going to do if we were going to try to escape or if they were going to start complying, um, my name was called. And it was some sort of government official that had called me into like an office that was within this multifamily complex that we were in. So I had gone into this office, and there was a government official sitting behind this desk and another gentleman standing next to him, um, just facing me. And there wasn't even a chair for me to sit down. I just had to basically go in and stand in front of this man that called me in there by name. And this man had given me a like 5 cards, like, the size of, playing cards, basically. And on this deck, each card had a different picture of a person, and on the back of this card was that person's information. So it had their name, their sex, their age, um, what or where they were currently, where they were from, like, it had all their personal information on the back of this card and then their current picture on the front of this card. And I was handed these 5 cards, and, um, for some reason, I knew that these cards that they gave me also had some sort of, like, a tracking device built into each card, if that makes sense, almost like a GPS tracker that was built into these cards. And um, I was told that these 5 people that I had to turn them in, like, give them this card, give the person, whoever was on that card, the card that was handed to me so that that tracking device was with the person they were looking for. Um, Basically, I was gonna turn them in kind of anonymously, I guess, if I wanted to live. I had to turn in these 5 people and give them each their own card so that they could be tracked no matter where they went, wherever they hid, if they ran off. I had to give these cards to them so that they could be tracked by these officials. And 2 of the people that were on the card were people that I knew, and the other 3 were people I didn't know. And one of the pictures um, on one of the cards was a child. And basically, every one of these people were people they were looking for because they were in the resistance, or they were in the I will not comply community, or they were causing trouble by preaching truth. They were just going against whatever the government was trying to push. They were going against the agenda. And um, I took these cards, and they basically told me that I had 2 days to make a decision, 48 hours to make a decision on if I was going to give these cards to the people so that they could be tracked and captured and killed, or if I was going to not do it and be killed myself. Okay. Well, I went out with these cards in my pocket, and of course, you couldn't tell anyone within your group that you had these cards because you would be killed on the spot if you were told as well. And I remember on the second day, I was looking out the window and I saw a car approaching the compound. And every time these cars came, they were bringing new people that they caught into the compound. And as I was watching this car pull up and these people get out, the people that got out was the mother and the child of who was on my cards. And this child must have been maybe 5 years old, 6 years old. And he was so innocent. and the mother was just trying to protect her child. You could just see it in her face that she had done everything that she could, and she felt like, um, she she messed up basically because she was caught, and she knew that it was just gonna be really rough for her child at that point. So, anyways, as they came into the compound, I continued to have these cards, and I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, couldn't talk to anyone about it, and I had to really think about if I was going to give up these 5 people, 3 of them that were complete strangers, or if I was going to basically stick with my faith and know that it was the wrong thing to do and basically give myself up to protect these 5 people. And at the end of the dream, I got called back into the office for my decision, and I told them that I was not going to do it. I was not going to turn these 5 people in, and that if they had to dispose of me, then that's what they had to do because I was not going to do their dirty work for them. And um, after that, I woke up. As soon as I told them I was not going to do it, take me instead. I know I'm going to be okay. God's got me. If you kill me, you kill me. I know where I'm going. I woke up. And when I woke up, it really made me think about how a lot of this, some of this has already happened as far as, when they did the mandates before, people were turning other people in, they were turning their neighbors in on, if they weren't complying, if they were having parties when they were only supposed to have one person over and no people over. They were turning people in for not wearing masks. People were losing their jobs for not getting, the mandated vaccine. They were already starting to basically tell people that they have to do this or their livelihoods were gone. And there's quite a few people that stood their ground and they said that they're not going to do it. But is it going to get to the point, which I believe it will eventually, to where your life is in jeopardy if you don't turn somebody else in? And I think it will. I think it is going to get to the point where you are going to have to make a choice of if you're willing to turn in people that are innocent, that are just like you, that are just trying to make it, trying to get through these struggles, trying to help their children survive, or are you going to turn them in and watch these people get killed, tracked, tortured, mutilated, whatever they planned on doing, ultimately killing them, to include children that didn't choose to be here in the first place. So I think the reason I brought this dream to your guys' attention is because eventually it is going to get to that, you guys. We are going to have to make a choice. And I would rather have people start thinking about it now than get to that point in desperation, because people do crazy things in desperation. And if you draw your line now and you make your choice now, chances are you're already going to stick with it. You're already going to stand by it and you're going to stay strong within it. So I know it was a short dream and it may not have made sense to some of you. Um, but I felt it was important to give light to what could happen and somewhat what started happening as far as livelihoods being taken away, and how far are they willing to go to make people turn on each other. Um, I'm not going to turn in innocent people. I'm not going to have someone else die in my place. I'm just not going to do it. You all may make different decisions, but that's something I feel you really need to look within yourself and think about. If it did come to it, what would you do? And I missed some of you guys coming in. Sorry. Hi, Black Guns. Tracy, hello. JD, hi. Winning Streak, hello. Um, they did in China too. I saw Roaming Prepper talking about taking pets. They also locked them in their homes. They literally put 2x4s on their homes to keep them in there. And they're willing to go to great lengths to stop people from not for going against the agenda. They're trying to stop people from going against the agenda. They're going to stop people that throw wrenches in their plans. And I don't think that there's anything that they would not do to stop people. And eventually it's just going to get worse and worse and worse to where they're going to stop people, whether it be their food or their jobs or their cars or their homes. They're going to keep pushing. And the more we push and the more we stand strong, the worse it's going to get for us. You just have to stay strong in your beliefs. You have to not bend because you're desperate. You have to keep your ethics and keep your morals and keep your beliefs very strong, and know that we're all in this together. We're all going through the same thing. Some of us will bend, and I'm sorry for that. And some of us will get caught. We can't all not comply and get away. It's just not going to happen. Reality. But when you are caught, choose your battles and know what you're going to stand for. Um, Hi, Doopsie Daisy. Do you guys have any questions? Did any of that make sense? It was a short dream, but I really wanted to share it because I felt it was important, and I felt that it is something that very well could happen, and something we may have to face, something we may have to make a decision on. I couldn't see turning in anybody, especially a child who probably doesn't even know what's going on in the world, unfortunately. You're welcome, Virginia. I'm reading comments, guys. Hold on one second. You're welcome, Wolf. Yes, Tracy, that's exactly right. Which hill are you willing to die on? You're welcome, Don. I'm not going to change who I am, you guys. I refuse to change who I am for anybody. I'm going to do my best to help people, and if I get caught, I get caught. If I have to go to work to get food, then I'll go to work to get food. But if I have to turn people in to survive myself, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to have that on my conscience, and I'm not going to become that person. I refuse. But there are battles you have to choose. Like if you want to go to work to get food. If you're already caught, you might as well go to work. Yes, prepared Irishman, you're right. Winter Homestead, it could, but this was these weren't police. These weren't military. This was like a whole other entity. This wasn't like a government um department that already existed. This was like a newly created worldwide entity that had control over the people, all the people. They chose everything for you. They chose when you left, when you came home. They chose if you got to go anywhere, if you didn't, which if you did, they had to take you, they had to be with you. They chose when you got to eat and what you got to eat and how much you got to eat. They chose when you got to go to sleep. They chose when you got to shower. We didn't have a lot of personal belongings, so whatever we had for clothing on our back was what we had to wear every day. So I'm assuming they chose when we got to wash them, if we got to wash them. They made all decisions for us to control us. It was almost like being in jail. It kind of was like being in jail, only it was like a multi-family compound, if that makes sense. It was like 5 or 6 of us in this compound together from different parts of the regime where we were all trying to get away and trying to escape and trying to hide. I mean, some of these people were hiding in the woods. Some of these people were hiding on boats. Some of these people were hiding underground, and they found them and they brought them to this compound where we all were. I don't even know where I got caught. I just know they got me. All right, Winter Homestead. I will wait for that call. Johnny, I have not watched that. Yeah, winning streak, we didn't have anything. We didn't have anything. And I kind of think that instead of having cards, you guys, I almost wonder if they're not going to use our phones, which is why in the thumbnail I had her the girl looking at the phone with the picture of the child looking into the crowd because I kind of wonder if they're going to give us messages so that it's more secretive, I guess, so that we will have the information and the photo within our phones that um, won't get lost. We won't misplace the picture, and somehow we send this to whoever it is, or I don't know how it works, but I would assume they would probably use our phones for secrecy to get us the information, almost like we're their free hitmen. Honestly, it's like we're their free assassins or whatever, and I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Pete, that's true that they are going to allow them to be police, and it kind of makes me wonder how many of those people might have our faces on a card, because a lot of us are on the list. So how many of us are on the lists? Like, could it be possible that certain people that are coming across the border are given information of people to go hunt down? Just a thought. Which makes me kind of wonder even more if some of these sleeper cells aren't just made to create chaos within the United States, but also hunt people down. Winter Homestead, I do not. I do not have a timeline. I don't ever have timelines in my dreams. I wish I did. Hi, prepping artist. Long time no see. Yeah, Johnny, it could be post World War III, or it could be in the mix of World War III, like farther into it. I just know that whatever government entity it was not what we have now. It was something newly created. I don't know if maybe with the one world government, if that is what is going to rise up to control the masses. It could be, or it could not. YouTube, this is just thoughts. Don't strike me again. We're just having conversation. Possibilities, fiction. Hello. I'm a little bit behind, guys. Thank you, Gypsy Daisy. That's awesome because I'm actually about to upload a whole bunch of other dreams. So that's really nice that you did that. I have quite a few that I plan on putting up, and I'd like to actually start tonight after this live. So be on the lookout for those. But they're not going to be the cartoon. I'm just going to share them with y'all. The cartoons take too much work. They are already using cell phones and a lot of ways to monitor our habits, track routines, and listen in on our conversations. Prepared Irishmen, not just cell phones, but all of our smart devices. All of our smart devices constantly listen to us, especially the ones that have the blue light that go around. It's always listening to us. And if you go into your app, you can go into the history and see exactly when it turns on and what it hears and delete that history, even though I'm sure it's not always deleted wherever it gets uploaded. But hi, Coffee. I'm still catching up. I'm really behind. JD, I think it's funny you bring that up. Well, it's not funny actually. It's not funny at all. Um as far as us as Christians, this war over in Israel actually worries me with that because whether people realize it or not, a big part of that is a religious war. And the massacres that are going on, a lot of them have to do with the religious beliefs. And if those people get sent here, or if they're coming here and we don't bow down to their beliefs, they are going to take us out. So I believe persecution is already going to start based on this war in Israel. I pray that I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that is how it's going to start. Hi, Ark. Hey, operator. Yeah, operator, I might get kidnapped. I actually wondered if they watch me a little bit closer with some of the things I talk about. Let me catch up, guys. Mike, the dream, the recap is basically I was caught by whatever the new government of the world is, and they tried to get me to turn people in to save my own life and get them killed, and I refused. And I woke up. That's the skinny of it. And but the details say pretty much how they do it and what it was like where I was when I was caught. That's the skinny. I'm sorry, you guys. I know you guys don't like sitting here watching me squint to catch up. Yeah, Winter Homestead. I love watching videos when that name comes up, and it activates mine. Yeah, she does whisper back, Irishman. It's kind of creepy. So, you guys that got to hear my whole dream, if you were caught, and I want you guys to really think about this. If you were caught and you were given these cards, whether you knew them or they were complete strangers, either way, would you be able to turn in these people to save your own life? And you have to really think about that because you may be caught with your family. So you may be brought the choice of turning these 5 people in, even if they're children, to stay alive and stay with your family. Or you may be caught by yourself and your family is still out there. Are you willing to turn in these 5 people or however many people? They could give you 2 people. Maybe you're given only 2 cards. Are you able to honestly have the conscience to turn 2 people in knowing that they are going to get killed to save your own life? Or those of you that are Christians, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you have enough faith in God that you will not turn these people in and know that God will take care of you? And if you're not Christian, are you able to, with a good conscience, turn these people in to save your own life? I mean, it's really something to think about. It's almost like that old scenario that they used to do. Do you kill one person to save the 5 on the train tracks? I mean, how many of you would honestly be able to kill if you were in my shoes, how many of you would have been able to kill the 5 people to save your own life? And that's something to think about. Your family could be alive. Maybe it's just you. Maybe it would have been just me if when I told them I wasn't going to do it, it was only my life that was going to be taken. It was not my family's. But at the same time, if it happened to me, you know that they're doing it to other people within the compound. So eventually your family is going to come up with that same scenario, that same question. And then they're going to have to make that choice. Johnny, I don't think you get to choose who's on your cards. I mean, if you saw a 5-year-old or 4-year-old or even a 2-year-old child coming into the compound because their mother was caught trying to escape with their child, and you had to turn in that 2-year-old that literally did not know what was going on, where they were, why they didn't have anything, where was their home, where was their dog, you know? Would you be willing to turn in that 2-year-old to save your own life? It would be a hard decision for some. It wasn't something that I honestly could make right away. I needed the 2 days to think about it. It was a lot of thinking, a lot of weighing, you know, I could live, but then these people die. And is it really living knowing that I killed these 5 people and still have to comply? Is that really living? Being forced to comply and continue to be used for their evil to kill people? That's not living. Yeah, winter streak, something to think about. I understand it's not a decision that some can make now, but it is definitely something to think about. Yeah, TJ, that's true too. Yeah. Mike, I agree. I agree. This was definitely much farther into the SHTF, much, much farther. It was where they had already rounded up a lot of the communities that were in hiding, a lot of the undergrounds. They have already somehow captured a lot of these people, which is, where I came from. I was one of the people hiding and somehow I got caught. I don't know if they raided where I was or I don't know. I don't know how they caught me, but I was caught. This was much farther down where it wasn't something that had just happened right when everyone went into hiding. They had already gotten farther into this process where they had rounded a lot of people up. But honestly, a lot of part of building these networks is to survive as long as we can, to help each other survive as long as we can. There's the amount of people saying that they will survive. Unfortunately, those numbers are not accurate because a lot of people will say they will survive, but they're not willing to go out and learn skills. They're not willing to make connections. They're not willing to even leave their homes. And those people that aren't willing to do the things they need to do, even though they think they'll survive just sitting within their homes with 6 months worth of food, with the scenario that was in my dream, we weren't in our homes anymore. Those people are not going to survive that just think that they can hide in their homes for, till it passes over. And there are a lot of people that think that they can do that. But if you have those things in place where you have the skills and you have communities and you've mapped out different routes to get to different areas, you are able to survive longer, especially if you have a network of people with different skills where you can help each other with with whatever is lacking within your skill department, you will survive longer. But for how long? Like how far is this going to go? How much food is needed? I mean, can we have like an Alexandria and have our own community for ever? For 10 years? For 20 years? How long is it going to last before they send drones in or they send, um infiltrate with other people to take us out from the inside out? It was way far into this to where there weren't a whole lot of hidden communities anymore. They rounded a lot of them up. Yes, that is true. Hello, Widow's Diary. Welcome. If you are new here, I don't know if you've seen my videos before, but I like to give out deep thoughts on things and things that kind of make people look outside of the box, think outside of the box. And tonight actually was the first time I have publicly shared one of my dreams because I felt they were important. Um, so I hope you're on that road with me to think critically and think deeper thoughts and put puzzle pieces together. We have an amazing community. A lot of these people in the chat right here also have channels. If you are not familiar with them, I highly suggest that you check them out. We are one big family that support each other and help each other and give each other advice. And all of us have really good content to do different things. We all have different skills that we teach and different ways that we look at things, but we all get together and we talk about all the different things that are going on and throw in our different views on things. So, welcome. How long would you live after they are turned in? Winter homestead, I don't know. I guess it depends how quickly your number is drawn to turn other people in and if you're willing to turn people in. I don't know how long I was there. If I had a basement, I totally would. Basements here are called swimming pools because we are below sea level. But I would. If I had a community underground, I absolutely would and YouTube's probably gonna definitely put me on the list for this. But if I had an underground community, I absolutely would bring people in to help them survive as long as they could. But they would have to be good people. It would have to be a consensus with other people that I highly trust to also trust these people. I'm not just going to make all these decisions to bring people in. It has to be a group discussion, and we all have good intuition. We all have good feelings of and know how to read people. So if I had an underground community, I absolutely would help people by hiding them and helping them and teaching them. I 100% would. JD, that would be absolutely amazing. I really hope I don't have to go through it in real life, but at least I know if I do, I know where I stand, even more concrete. Nostra, we all need some comedy here and there. That would be funny. Yes. Mike, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. I could not live with myself knowing that I was the cause of 5 innocent people's death. My life would have been laid down before theirs, even though most of them were strangers. I wouldn't do that. I would not take out innocent people. Yeah. Y'all are welcome to my underground community I don't have yet, but someday I might. Yeah. Old Mutt. Yeah. Yeah. I'm saying yeah, but you guys don't know what I'm reading. Winter Homestead said, "Where's the line between right and wrong?" And that lies within each person. Someone else's right might not be, it might be someone else's wrong. So that really is a question for each individual person. Yes. RP, that's right. There are good people. There's a lot of bad people on the inside, but there are truly good people on the inside that are fighting for us. There really are. I've preached that numerous times with military, government contractors, police. there are good people in there. There are a lot of bad people, but there are truly good people in there that are trying to fight for us on the inside. They really are. Not everyone is bad. Operator, I haven't heard of those movies. I'll have to look those up. Yes. Prepared Irishman, that's so true. Skills are so important, you guys. And actually when I went to this last meetup, I got to do some things that I had never done before that were on my list to try. And you've got to get with people that are willing to teach you how to do things. Even at Mike's, if you go to Mike's meetup, there are people there willing to teach you how to do things. Learn, take the minute, take the seconds, whatever it takes to learn these skills, because these skills could very well save your life. And there's never any judgment at any of these meetups. If you go to any of these meetups, nobody judges you for not knowing. Nobody judges you for being a new prepper or for, knowing these skills but not these skills. There's no judgment at these meetups. Take the opportunity to learn from other people that have done it. It is so important. And then once you learn that skill, take it to another meetup and teach somebody else. If we can keep teaching one person and they go teach one person, eventually we can teach people across the world how to survive longer and learn the skills to be able to hide as long as we can, go underground, go into the mountains, go into the woods. If you don't know those skills, you're not going to make it. Take the opportunity to get to these meetups and learn these skills. They're so important. I can't tell you how important. And then teach your children, because if we're not here anymore, your children need to know too. Teach your children so that they can survive and they can be a part of the resistance and they can be into the underground or whatever is going on. Teach them so that they can survive and teach their children. We used to have traditions of certain things with Christmas trees or at Thanksgiving. The tradition now needs to be teaching your children skills, teaching your children truth, teaching your children morals and ethics and how to stand strong in them. That needs to be the new traditions within the world for the families. Only a Snickers bar, Hudson. A monster will come out of them without a Snickers bar. Where am I at? 42 minutes. And I'm still let me catch up real quick. I wish I could play music, but they'll get me for that too. What are some skills you guys think, if you were talking to a new prepper, somebody who's just starting, and you know it's going to come a time where you have to go underground or you have to go into hiding, what are some skills that you think new preppers or new resistance community members should learn, like utmost importance in order to hide or survive? I'm just curious what you all think. I'm gonna pull a poll. Um, yeah, no cell phones. Yep, or smartwatches or tablets. What are some skills you think new people should learn now while they can? Good night, winning streak. Devil dog, hello. See how far behind I am? I'm trying to catch up. Click, 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 click. I want to build a bigger one because I want as many of us to survive and stand strong as we can and help as many people as we can. I cannot express the importance of how I feel about that. And I'm now going to change the subject because I'm going to start getting teary eyed. But I want it bigger. I want it stronger. And I want people to have faith in themselves and have faith in God and know that He's bringing us together. He really is, guys. He is bringing us together to help each other, to support each other for what's coming. You just have to listen and trust and have faith. Ooh, Mike, you got me starting to water. Whew. Hi, Joe. Tracy, keep teaching. Keep teaching. Are you talking about your children? Because even if they seem like they're not listening, eventually, they will do something that will show you that when you were teaching, they were actually listening. Keep teaching. Operator, I've had lots of people unsubscribed and notifications shut off. And it's actually happened to me recently. I've been unsubscribed from a lot of people that I used to watch religiously, and all of a sudden I was no longer subscribed. Check y'all's buttons. On all the channels that you really support, check your buttons and make sure you're still subscribed and notifications are on because a lot of them have been shut off. Yes, JD, I agree 100%. How to cook? Oh, good. Tiger. Hello, Tiger. How to cook from scratch, growing a garden, and raising small animals. Yes, especially the cooking from scratch. Too many people nowadays, the younger generation, do not know how to cook from scratch or even how to cook from scratch on an open fire. That is another skill. They might be able to do it in the kitchen, but teach them how to do it on a fire pit or an open fire or a fireplace, even. Teach them how to do it in the fireplace so that they know that if they ever have to go out, they know how to do it, without their Teflon frying pans. That's a good one. That's huge. Hunting with a bow. I want a crossbow. That's actually on my list also. That is something that I would like to try. I have not tried, but I would love to learn how to use a crossbow. Good night, RP. Thanks for jumping in. Yes. JD, I got to use a bow drill for the first time. That was awesome. But there are other ways. There are different ways that you can also start fires without a match or a lighter. Um, Different skills that people should use. That's a good one. You need heat and you need to be able to purify water and you need to be able to cook with fire. So that's a good one. How to find food. Yep. Fishing, hunting, foraging, gardening. Yes. I just saw your comment. Doopsie Daisy, that's another good one. Fasting. Ghost Lincoln, I think he just did a fast. I just watched him and he did a fast. Y'all should start learning how to intermittent fast now because if it comes to a point to where you have to go a couple days without food, if you are already intermittent fasting now, it makes it so much easier. Just go like intermittent fasting is where you may not eat your first meal until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're going all that first half of the day without eating, and that starts preparing your body to be able to go without in case you have to go longer. And when you do have to go longer, and Ghost Lincoln can vouch for this, it's easier for you to go without for longer if you start intermittent fasting now. I am one, I don't eat breakfast. I do not eat my first meal until about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. I have my coffee in the morning and then I'm good until 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So if I have to go 2 days without food, as long as I have my coffee, I'm good. If I don't have my coffee, whole different story. I need my coffee. Yeah, Wolfing, that's another one. How to stay quiet and how to keep your children quiet and your animals quiet. That's another one. I was thinking about that today with the new puppies barking when they play. How do you keep your animals quiet when they need to be? Good. Filtering water. Hunting, fishing, cooking, first aid. First aid's another one, even if it's just basic first aid. Yep. Security, another one. Shelter, another one. Stealth camping. Yep. Light and sound discipline. Mike, you should do a video on light discipline. That's a good one. A lot of people probably don't know about. I actually did not know about it until I met my husband. So that's a good one. That would be right up y'all's alley with light discipline for security purposes. Land navigation, that's another one. How to read the maps, the old time maps with the, I can't even think of the word, but where it shows you how steep the mountain is. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yes. Old mud, anything can be a weapon. Really. Anything can be a weapon. Even without modifying, a lot of things can be a weapon. People just don't realize it. How to fight, that's another one. Self defense. Joe, that's right. Black powder from scratch. Interesting. I've actually never thought about that. Yep. Self defense. Huge, guys. That's so important. Or how to blend in. Part of self defense is also blending in with the people around you. It's not all just fighting. Self defense is also blending in so that you're not a target. Yep. Hi, PBC. I didn't notice you popped in here. Um, Forging steel. That'd be kind of cool. I would like to try that too. Longbow. Huh. I really want to learn how to use a crossbow, bow and arrow. I have my slingshot I need to practice with. I'm pretty good with it, but I need to practice more. And you'll practice. Just because y'all have skills, you need to practice because it's not something that you just are on point with all the time. You got to practice. Yes. Learn from your failures. Don't get upset. Don't give up just because you fail once. Just adapt, get better, fix whatever made you fail, and do it again. Practice makes perfect. Hello, Michael. I would love to learn how to forage for mushrooms too without killing myself. That's on my list too. Yep. Stay level headed. Don't panic. Johnny, I'll look into that. Prepping artist. I love fishing, and I'm going to tell you a funny story real quick. How much time do I have? I got 7 minutes. I'm going to tell you this funny story. My husband and I, we used to go fishing quite often. And he used to get so mad at me because I would always catch the fish and he would always lose them or he would get his line caught. Well, when I moved to South Carolina, I learned how to do cast netting for bait. And I threw out my cast net one time. And as I was pulling it back in, it was pulling away from me. And I was like, this is weird. What in the world is going on? And so when I pulled it in, I actually had 2 fish in my cast net that I threw in shallower water to catch shrimp, and my husband was so mad at me because he couldn't catch any on his pole, and I was throwing for bait, and I caught 2 fish in my net. I like Survival Lily operator. She's a smart girl. 100 hours. That is awesome. I knew you had gone 3 days. I didn't know you went the full 100. That's good, and I bet you felt a lot better too. Once you get first that or past that first initial major headache, you're good. You're good. You just have to get through that first initial major headache and first major hunger pain, and then your body adapts. But that first headache is a killer. That's usually where people fold. Devil dog, yes, thank you. Topographical maps. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you. Yes, a log could be a weapon, especially if it's flying through the air on accident. Where am I at? I've got 4 minutes. Yes, yes, that is true. I actually just watched a movie, Doopsie Daisy, that was a faith-based movie, or actually, I think it was a video. I think it was a YouTube video, and it was about this gentleman that kept putting off reading his scriptures and putting it off and putting it off, and then he had this horrible feeling that he was no longer able to read the scriptures, and when he opened up his Bible, all pages were blank. And no matter which Bible he opened, it was blank. So that is actually a very good point. Know your scriptures, know your stories, so that when they are no more, whether they disappear or they are banned or destroyed, you can continue to share faith and hope. That's a great one. Yes, that is true. Good night, PBC. I'm just catching up, guys, because I've got 2 minutes, I think, left. Yeah, hand signals, code words. That's another good one. Meeting points. That's another one. If you have the ability to use radios, know what their channels are, their frequencies. That is actually on my list too. We are going to be working on our radio license. Yep, no com plan. That's very important too. Luckily, we have a vehicle that is. Um, if we're coming, you're going to know it's us. So if we end up bugging out to a location, if they see our vehicle, they're going to know it's us. Thankfully. Yeah, basic chemistry. That's another one. Ghost Lincoln. This is off topic, but next time you have a migraine coming on, if you drink coffee, pour a little bit of allspice in your coffee and see if it helps. It has a pain blocking element for headaches and migraines, and it actually works better than my prescription migraine medicine. Just regular old allspice. Just sprinkle some in your coffee, and it will, within 15-20 minutes, will start easing up that headache. Good night, love. All right, you guys, I am at the 2 minute mark. I'm going to close this out. I hope you guys got something out of the dream I shared. I'm going to be sharing some more on the member side. I have a bunch of them I need to put up, and I'm going to go back to my original ones and start feeding those in. It's kind of scary because as I'm watching the news, I'm starting to see a lot of them come to light again, based on what's going on overseas. Some of them are shorter than others, but I usually dream in very detailed uh, pieces, just not time frames. But now that they're coming to light, I'm gonna start sharing those, but I'm not sharing them on the public side. This is probably the only one I will share on the public side. Um, as always, hi Teresa. As always, you guys, be safe. No, not Old Spice, allspice, Johnny, allspice. Be safe. Love each other. Be kind to each other. Pay attention to your surroundings, especially right now. with all the people coming across the border. You don't know what their intentions are, whether it be for mass disturbances or for individual criminal activity. Pay attention. Be ready to protect yourself. Um, don't put yourself in a situation where you could be harmed. And keep learning skills. As always, you guys, know that God's in charge. He's got us, He's with us. He will never leave us, even if it comes down to us putting our lives down. Eternity is way better than this. Good night, you guys. Much love.